Beyond the actions, there is always the essence of knowing the intentions. This statement is very true because most of the people who appear to us as our friend or supporter may only see us as area of advantage but not really a holistic and sincerely partner in augmentation of our lives. Beloved online learners, this is the center of our instructor's compass as we dissect why the Spanish colonizers choose to hide their swords at the back of the cross. This is still Academia Gonzaga Learning Systems, and I am Mentor Noy Gonzaga, your online instructor. In the 1500s, the superpowers of the world are not yet the great Western empires of today, such as the European Union, the Soviet Socialist Republic, and the United States of America. During those times, it was still a toss between Spain and Portugal. Again, you did not hear me wrong. It's Spain and Portugal. Now, in the mad scramble as to who between these two will end up with the most number of territories, they barge into military colonization, and their concentration is the Far East, or today it is partly called South Asia or Southeast Asian areas. Now, Spaniards need to be cruel in order to make this objective this objective of taking our country or our territory, Philippines, into their inclusive count of sovereigns. Remember, they are into a competition with Portugal. The problem is, Spain is a Catholic country. If it intrudes a sovereign with harm and force, it will be against the teaching of the Catholic faith. Thus, they were forced to enter our country, bringing Christianity as their front, but the real objective is colonization. So these are two worlds which are apart. They put it together, and this is a marriage of a very, very ugly proportion. That is the very reason why the Spaniards burned the literatures of the pre-Spanish regime, which were made by the Malays, the natives, and the cross-culture traders who occupy our country during those periods, the Filipinos actually during those times, before the Spaniards arrived in our country. The intrusion of the Spaniards were reflected by our pre-colonized ancestors in their literature, and this will surely affect the image of Christian Spain if they will not eradicate these literatures. Thus, the burning of ancient literatures happened, and our first colonizers fabricate a story that these are works of the devil, so they should be gotten rid of. Now, if we noticed, literature seemed to promote that Spanish influence in the Philippines triggered sudden improvement in civilization. Well, this is what the Spaniards wanted the history to look like, but there are groups of people who wrote reality, and they are called the propagandists, a group of Filipino intellectuals who were not fooled and did not submit to the fabrications of the colonizers. Well, these people include Rizal, Del Pilar, Graciano Lopezina, and many among them. These are the people who aimed to balance literary records and wrote honestly so that the people of the future, including you and me, will know the reality behind the cross that the Spaniards are promoting, and that reality is the cruel sword. Thus, the propagandists, because of their truthful accounts, were one by one targeted by the Spanish Armada so that they will be kept silent or they will be silenced eternally. These are the two basic literary topics during the Spanish colonization. Well, to review, first, the view of the Spaniards was to project, that is how Spain turned garbage Philippines into a modern and great country. That is how they want history and literature to look like. Second, the view of the propagandists wherein Filipinos were only used by the Spaniards because of their empirical ambitions to rule the world and to be considered the greatest empire influencing the whole world, that later resulted to cruelty, to augment speed of time, and to demand authority beyond the continued challenges of the local revolts of Filipinos. Yes, Before the Spaniards can teach us one crucial reality of greatness in literature, we have already great Filipinos who can compete with the minds of the Spaniards. A proof to this is the great minds of Rizal, the great minds of Marcelo del Pilar, the great minds of Graciano Lopisana, that during those times, no Peninsulares and Insulares can even defeat in a one-on-one intellectual duel. Now, how do we know of these realities in the Spanish period in the Philippines? Well, some of the literary masterpieces of the propagandists and other revolutionary Filipinos survived the cruel literary treatment during the time, and they made it to the hands of the people who conserved this to augment and write a complete literary historical documentation of our dear country Philippines. Thanks! They were not included to those that were accused of being work of the devils and burned by the Spaniards. Now, if you will ask, what is the Fil-Spanish literary reality? Well, simple. Filipinos can write and make literature better than our first colonizers. That is our reality. That is the great reality. The colonization did not improve our literature. On the contrary, it just changed our literature but never promoted abundance of literary heritages and improvements. Should the Spaniards cease to arrive, we could have had more colorful, more prestigious, and more diverse literary materials that could be used for education and references today. That is another reality. This is the Instructor's Compass, tackling the topic Filipino-Spanish literary realities, and this is Mentor Noy Gonzaga, still happy to bridge learning from this humble mind to your learning minds. God bless everyone, and keep tuning in to the productions of Academia Gonzaga. Should you want to know more, you can always go to YouTube and search the keywords AcaGon, that is spelled AcaGon, or 7 Minutes with God, and by then you will see more of our production outputs. And until the next compass will be focused, we will again see each other soon. Have a great day to all.